When he finished talking, I shook his hand, wished him happiness, and promised to come to the wedding. The other army men who were not working would come too. It was a good marriage for both of them. He was young and honest, even if he got angry easily. She was the older of two very pretty sisters, and was a little nervous during the engagement because it was very different from the quiet convent school in Trieste where she had studied. I helped my sergeant talk to the old man because the tears of the women and the honest words of the young sergeant did not help. What they could not do, the shiny medals on my uniform did easily. The old man agreed, and everything went well. They set the dowry and the wedding day while drinking many cups of coffee, little glasses of cider, and smoking cigarettes. One thing was a problem. The old man, a Montenegrin, supported the Serbs, but Fabricio seemed like a useless soldier. In his heart, he supported the old rulers of the land, his ancestors. Then the wedding day came closer. The time before the wedding was not without problems, but finally, it passed. The old man started to like his future son-in-law, just as he had liked his own son. His son had married a poor Italian girl against his will, and he disowned the son. The tears and pleas of the women, the priest, and the archimandrite of Saba could not change his mind. He did not allow anyone to mention his son's name in the house because he was the master there. Instead of this disobedient son, he decided to give the wharf and the rope-making factory to Fabricio until his time in the army was over. Fabricio was very different from the poor, unhappy musician Pero. The wedding day had come. There were many carriages in different styles. We went along the sandy road, then through the shaking chestnut trees to the cathedral. Inside, the ceremony was done in the dark, gold-shining church following the Eastern Church traditions. Young priests with long hair offered bread on big silver plates. These two young priests walked quietly in and out of the doors of the painted wall that hides the altar. Sometimes they carried heavy altar books and sometimes silver cups. The bride with her white veil and the handsome, serious soldier were kneeling by the front bench. The loud singing of the choir rose with its strange rhythm and repeated words in a very old language. The singing sounded like trumpets. Then came a deep bell sound. From the right door, seen through a cloud of incense, came the archimandrite in a fancy gold robe, with a cap and staff. He was with priests and little boys swinging incense holders. My little companion, who was standing next to me behind the groom, signaled to me and lifted a small crown over the head of the groom. I did the same for the bride. Then came the questions and answers. The white-bearded bishop hugged the young man and kissed him on the right and left shoulders. He hugged the bride, who kissed his sleeve. Then it was my turn and my little companion's turn. Her shy looks told me to do what the others did. For a short time, I heard only the rustling of stiff clothes and the soft sound of feet as people bent to touch my shoulder and that of the bride. Old women, young women, men, boys, people I never saw before and would never see again. Cannons roared. We were in front of Perovic's villa. It was really just a big, four-cornered tower from old days with many additions built over centuries. The rooms were huge, plain, and whitewashed with little furniture. Only in the big entranceway, the tonello, there was furniture. An art-loving ancestor had decorated the walls with pictures. A strong smell of food fills the house. On the table, which is covered with fine cloths, are many small plates. In front of each guest, there is a plate. In front of the bride and groom are 2 vases of sweet-smelling flowers. A nephew of the head of the house is in charge and shows the guests their places. To the right of the bride sits the bishop. Next to him is the bride's mother. On the left of my sergeant, I sit, and beside me is Gianettina, my lovely little companion for the day. Opposite the bride sits the father. Next to him his friends and companions. They are rude, old men with many medals, long beards, knives, and silver pistols stuck in their belts. They wear little black caps and stare hungrily at the small plates. They are uncomfortable because of the women, and maybe because of me too. They speak Serbian, and my little neighbor blushes when she softly translates their words for me. She knows I don't speak Serbian, and she always adds in Italian that she hopes I will learn Serbian. She tells me the names of the men, who are mostly her father's relatives. When she points to a young man in a white coat with hard, mean features, her face looks sad. Once he asked to marry my sister, and she said no. Papa liked him though. Oh, what trouble there was then. But she didn't give in. I ask, would he like to marry you now? No. She wouldn't have him either. Besides, she was too young. She quickly explains. The big meal begins. 2 serving maids and the nephew of the head of the house come in with huge, 4-cornered bottles. A small drink and a dried fig start the meal. This is to take away the taste of cigarettes. Then wine is poured into glasses. It is the heavy, thick, black wine of Lissa. Each person chooses their favorite food from the plates. One by one, the guests hand over their silver pistols and knives to the attendants. Then they loosen their heavy leather belts and open their collars. The laughter gets louder and more cheerful. Faces get redder. Even my little companion's face turns rosy when I ask her to translate some of the jokes for me. Outside, in the courtyard, workmen and servants eat at a long table. The Pirovic family is generous. The heat is unbearable even with the doors and windows open. I want fresh air and coffee. How long can this party last? Finally, the champagne comes and then the special dish of honor. A roast lamb is brought in on a long wooden tray carried by 2 servants. It is placed on a serving table near the large table. The master of ceremonies steps forward with a big knife. The master of the house says a few words. Then all the young people bow their heads and cover their eyes with the edge of the tablecloth. Everyone laughs and talks. My little companion whispers to me to do what the others do. I see the master of ceremonies lift the big knife and with one blow, cut the roasted lamb. One more blow, and the lamb is cut into 4 parts. The guests drop the tablecloth and wipe their eyes and hair. The master of the house congratulates the master of ceremonies. This ends the meal. The archimandrite stands up, thanks the master of the house for the banquet. People start kissing each other's shoulders again. I try to leave, but my little companion grabs my arm and whispers, "Please don't go now. I'm afraid. I'm afraid." I see she is watching a group at one end of the table. Beside the master of the house is the young man who wanted to marry 9. He is smiling and whispering to the old man. The old man laughs and drinks more wine. Then he yells, "Whoever says his name is dead." The others agree, slap him on the back, and drink with him. The young man goes to talk with the bride and groom. His face is sad. He tells them something important. The bride nods. My sergeant fixes his coat and walks up to the old man. I see Fabricio standing by the old man. I hear him say, "Father, on this happy day, let us not forget poor Niccolo, who with wife and child in poverty. There is no way to help now." The old man, very angry, jumps up. I see Fabricio step back, then run after the old man through the open door. There is noise and confusion on the stairs. Then I see the bride throw herself on the dead body of Fabricio. 3 days later, they find the old man hiding in a bad place. Poor little Nine.